Now, do I hit? Oh, you got it. All right. Okay.
I'm Alexia Anastasia. We are live, and I'm here with
Candace Harper from Candace Harper Coaching, Candace Harper Love Coach.
Awesome. So happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yay, me too. Me too. I'm excited to learn about all that you have to say and what you do. So can you tell our audience about what you do as a love coach?
As a love coach. Well, here's the thing. I started out, I was just a regular life coach, and I was helping people sort of discover their dreams and, find out, get clarity about what they want to accomplish, get through projects, that sort of thing. And I realized there was this part of me because, at the time when I started out life coaching, I was single, and that was something that I was dealing with. Like, I was almost coming up on 40, like how to navigate all of that, the whole dating thing. And I realized that, in learning coaching and coaching other people, that there was this thing nagging at me that I always say your purpose is a combination of your talents and your challenges. And so there was this thing nagging at me. I knew so many other single women, and I kept getting these resounding messages about what women and men go through. And so about 6 months ago, I decided to become a love coach. And what that is for me, because, every coach has a different niche. Yeah. What love coaching is for me, ultimately, is discovering that you are whole, perfect, and complete just as you are, so that you can attract another person who is whole, perfect, and complete, if that's what you want. Like, not the assumption that you have to have a man, you have to have a partner, but that you can be whole on your own, and how to learn how to do that. Not enough of us know how to do that. I didn't used to know how to do that. I had to learn that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it is. I that's what my program teaches, and that's what I coach.
Cool. So tell us about your program.
My program is a 13-week course. That sounds long, but it's one of those courses where you have a lesson a week, and then you get to practice what you're doing for that whole week. And so I break it down into 3 big chunks. It's wholeness, wellness, and worthiness. So, within the wholeness unit of the program, you're learning forgiveness. You're working through some of the past stuff that kind of holds us back. Maybe the static around past relationships, family stuff. We work on getting rid of all of that so that we can start with a clean slate, start fresh. The wellness part is about learning what true self-care is. A lot of people think self-care is like getting your hair and your nails done. But self-care is actually, having a regular spiritual and physical practice with yourself. It's knowing when to say no, and knowing how to set boundaries with other people. Yeah. So we work on that stuff for the second unit. And then the third unit is wholeness, wellness, and worthiness is about clarity. Mm-hmm. And it's about really getting clear about what you want to experience in a relationship. A lot of women, and some men too, they'll write their list of what they want in the other person. And a lot of times that includes, 6 figures and, where they live and how tall they are and all of that stuff. But none of that stuff will get you, what we all want, which is love and connection, right? So, the idea of the worthiness section is recognizing that you're enough and being everything that you want to experience. Because when you can embody that, you attract who you are. So, if I want to experience kindness, compassion, support, a sense of humor, just a light, happy kind of life, and that's who I embody, that's who I'm going to attract. And so that's what that unit is about. It's about teaching that and, helping people sort of get in touch with that, because we all have it. It's just a lot of times we lose it or we forget we have it. We step away from it and it's not, it's not productive.
Yeah. So what are some tips that you can give us? I would love to go through each section. So what are some tips for the first section?
For the first section, which is about wholeness, one of the biggest things about that section is it's forgetting the past, but also forgiving the past. And the thing about forgiving, I think that a lot of people struggle with, is that we sometimes feel like in order to protect ourselves, we have to manage forgiveness. A lot of people will say, well, I can forgive, but I'll never forget. And the thing about that that's a little bit dangerous is that if you make a decision that, that you've been, okay, let's say you've been hurt, you were in a relationship and someone cheated on you or someone hurt you. So another person's intentions and their actions and how we interpret them can sometimes be very skewed. So someone can do something and can have everything to do with who they are. In fact, it always does. When people act and react, it has everything to do with who they are and nothing to do with who we are, right? But if we perceive it in a way that internalizes it and makes it about us, so we can forgive them, oh, it's okay that you did it. But if I'm still walking around like the girl who got cheated on, every man I meet or every possible partner or prospect, I'm going to navigate my relationship with, you know, the belief of the girl who got cheated on. So what does that mean? I'm not going to trust you. I'm going to be in a state of, you know, when is this going to end? When is the other shoe going to drop? When am I going to find out? And we know it's like what you fear, you manifest, right? So the first part, the wholeness, is about getting all that forgiveness stuff out of the way, really understanding what forgiveness is, how to really clean up what has happened in the past in a way that you can release it. So I'm not defined by what people have done to me. I take responsibility for what I did in the situation. And I can also know that my perception is an interpretation of what happened. So I don't have to take it with me. The past is over. It doesn't exist anymore, right? So then that's the main crux of the first part. The second part with wellness, the main crux of the second part is self-care and contribution. So what you do for yourself and what you do for others, because those are the things that really get us, you know, connected with each other. So if I'm in a place of knowing that I'm worthy of meditation and yoga and spending time with myself and, you know, being in my own head, then I know I can share that with somebody else, or that I can, you know, treat someone else with compassion and be contributive to their lives, whether if I bring them into it or if through my peace, I'm able to offer them something, whether it's, you know, feeding somebody or mentoring somebody, then I get to sort of have a completeness with who I am as a human being and get connected, which is so important. I don't know what you believe, but I believe we're all connected anyway. Like,
oh yeah.
Right? This is just our human suit.
Right. That's how we're magneted towards each other.
Yeah. Like we're one big thing. And then, you know, we all have these little human suits where we can run around on the earth. But really, you know, there's this big soul connection. And that's what we crave. You know, people call it love. People call it God. People call it whatever. But we crave each other for that reason. You know, and I think a big part of that is being able to give to ourselves and give to others. So that's what the second part is about. And it's also, too, about passion and giving to others in a way that's passionate and using your passions and things that you love in order to contribute to others, you know, to solve other people's problems. Some people, I love to cook. I love to feed people. And even though mentoring is my give back, any chance that I get, if someone's hungry, to be able to cook for them and feed them, that is, to me, very connected. You know, so that's kind of, it's that part of the unit is about teaching people what is that thing for you and how can you, you know, give it to yourself and others.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I like to give magic.
Do you?
Yeah, I give little magic cards. Like I do like sessions, and sometimes I don't need to do a session. Maybe it's sometimes a conversation, and then I get to give somebody magic to help them.
I love that, because that's one of those things that gives people that moment of just being a child again.
Yeah.
Like when someone does a magic trick, it's like, like you see people, they actually go into their like child mode, right?
Yeah, it's really great. And it's also the anchor that sometimes people need to get to what they want. You know, like, okay, time magic.
Yeah.
You got it.
Absolutely. I love that.
We have our time. We all have the same time, but you know, what are we spending it on? When we spend more of the things that we love, then we do have more time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also we're not so caught up in time. It's like when we're engaged in ourselves, engaged in our passions, it's really about presence and living, right?
Yeah.
So we're not worried about that. We're not worried about that time thing. But yeah, so I think that's cool. That's the kind of thing I like to bring out in people. Like, what is your thing that you're passionate about that, you know, when you do it, you feel great. And when you share it with others, you know, you make a difference with other people. And then the last part with worthiness, that's the part where we really get into becoming whole, perfect, and complete. Like that understanding that I am enough just as I am. Like I'm, you know, that inner critic that says you have to get it perfect, or, you know, you haven't done enough, you haven't accomplished enough, and all of that stuff. You know, we do some exercises and we work on clearing that so that we can get really authentic with our awesomeness, and be exactly who it is we want to attract. So, you know, if I'm authentic with myself, I'm somebody who's very, you know, I tend to be emotional, and I tend to, you know, be big with my personality. So if I, you know, kind of put that down or make it smaller, if I need to do that around another person, I know that's not a good match for me. I know that's not, you know, where I want to be. So the worthiness is knowing that it's okay to just be who I am, and anybody who would need me to be smaller is not right for me. Right? So whoever you are, even if you're not, if you do have a smaller personality, somebody needs you to be bigger, and what you feel comfortable with is kind of being introverted and quiet, then you know they're not right for you. So it's about finding that clarity, being able to adjust your list so that your list is very, you know, I want to experience support, emotional support. I want to experience compassion. Kindness is a big one. You know, I want someone who, I just know that they're going to be there for me. Whatever it is, you know, it's individual for everybody, but being unafraid to ask for that because I know I offer that. You know, so yeah, that's the crux of the third unit. And that's what the exercises are kind of based on, is really getting clear about that too. I start out the whole course with a test where you find out your deserve level, because that's a big thing. I think, especially with women, we don't understand our deserve level. I mean, just for being human beings, we deserve love, and we have the ability to give love, right? But a lot of us walk around, we're still chasing after bad boys. You know, we're still thinking that we have to convince people to be in a relationship with us. And by convince, I mean, you know, we're doing all the calling and all the planning and trying to make him know or make her know, you know, whatever you prefer. Like it's that kind of, I'm not going to attract you just with who I am. I have to do things in order to get you. So then, you know, I give the deserve level test so you know where you're at with that. Because when you have a low deserve level, you think you have to work for it. Yeah. You don't. So yeah, that's basically it. By the end of the 13 weeks, and the reason that it's the amount of time that it is because it takes about that long to get rid of old habits and develop new habits that are more productive. So, you know, once you go through that sort of transition, it's kind of a painless transition, because I don't want to say completely painless because you have breakthroughs, but because of the amount of time, you have like a week to sort of digest each section, and you don't even know that you're doing it. You go through the lesson, you do the exercise, and then you go through life with this sort of on your brain. And once it's in your mind, you can't get rid of it. Like once you really start thinking about forgiveness and how you can do it differently, you find yourself sort of practicing it with people, practicing it at work, with your family. You know, it comes up for you until you deal with it. And that's kind of how the course is programmed to affect people.
And is it, so it's a live course?
It's not a live course, but my first course is not a live course. I have one that I do, but I'm not doing it right now. I think I'm going to start it in January, and that's my group course,
okay,
where I actually meet face to face with no more than 10. There's only 10 spots in my live course. My online course is actually, it's in pre-enrollment right now. It's actually in the early enrollment price too. Ooh. But my online course is, it's audio, PDFs, and slideshows during the audio. So you watch the slideshow as you're listening to the audio, you do the PDF exercises, and then, you know, that carries you for the week. And you do it, I recommend doing it the same day every week. So you have like the full solid 7 days to kind of, you know, sit with whatever the next lesson is.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so is there a group component to that, or?
There is. Well, there's a private Facebook group. So once you actually get on the course, you get into the private Facebook group, and then you get even more support there. Every Friday, I'm on the private Facebook group live for 2 to 3 hours. And, you know, depending on how many questions people have. And, you know, I'll do a post, and then there can be a thread, or people can post and ask me questions, and I'll respond. And, you know, and other students can participate, you know, in the conversation on the Facebook group during that time. And, you know, it's just a way to sort of connect and ask questions if you want any more information. You know, it's that sort of thing.
Awesome. Yeah. And what's in your future? What do you want to manifest?
What do I want to manifest? Well, I have 2 books in the works. Ooh. And so completion of those books, which is actually closer because one of the books is around my program. So that's you know, that's on its way. And I actually, in as much as I know it's very easy to self-publish, and that's one of the ways I'm thinking of going, but one of my main goals is to actually get published. It's very difficult these days with self-publishing and everything like that. So I want to be on the New York Times bestseller list. I am going to be on the New York Times bestseller list.
That's right.
Right? Yeah, there's that. And I also sometimes appear on television. So in my 10-year vision, which I wrote about a year ago, I actually have a television show where I do interviews, and and it's about coaching, and it's about seeing people to their big dreams. And so I don't know how that's all going to manifest. It's like,
yeah, you don't need to know how.
Right? Exactly. I'm just putting it out there and doing the next right thing in front of me. And, that's the key. I mean, the idea is to reach women globally. I mean, I always say this, and men too, but I feel like, with women, we are sort of the future of the direction that this country can go in when people, because we have the emotional landscape that we do. I feel like it's time for us to be in power in that way, and not that there's a competition between men and women, not in that way, but compassion has become very important, and the end of wars and things like that. And so women getting self-accepted is very important in this day and age. Women feeling good enough to do what they need to do in order to contribute to the world is very important right now, because there's just too many horrible things happening. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with this, just a low general self-worth of the population. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
So, we're just wrapping up our on the record section. How can people find you?
How can people find me?
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple different ways. You can go to either one of my websites. My blog site, I blog to help you create the love life you desire and deserve, is CandiceHarperLoveCoach.com. Right? And then my online course site is CandiceHarperCoaching.com. I also have a Facebook page, Candice Harper Love Coach. And then my Twitter handle is Candy Says Love. So it's candy like the candy you eat, SEZLOVE. And that's it. I mean, that's the best way. You can see it there. It's on the screen right now. Oh, I lost you. Oh, did we just open up a seat?
Yeah. So awesome. And when's your next class?
Well, the online course is in pre-enrollment right now. It starts November 2nd. That's when the lessons will start to be released. And then that course is pretty much evergreen. I'm going to be doing a live course in January. And I also do a thing called Supper Soul Sundays, but you got to be local for that. If you're in New York City at the end of the month, probably not over the holidays, November, because of Thanksgiving and Christmas. But then in January again, I did one last month where I did a ladies' brunch where we talked about how to create the love life you desire and deserve. And also, there's always giveaways and prizes and stuff. We got a really great gift from GHD Hair, which is like a high-end hair company. So I'm going to be doing that every month, where I get thought leaders and people in the community who live nearby who want to come together. It's called Supper Soul Sunday, because we're going to be talking like the show Super Soul Sunday, but we're also going to be eating, because eating is very important. And yeah, it's like a big banquet style conversation. So those are the two ways that people can actually get with me live. And I also post about that on the Facebook page.
Okay, awesome. And I'm Alexia. You can find me at alexianastasio.com. I'm putting the links are below on YouTube. So thanks for joining us. I'm gonna stop